Hi, everybody. Welcome to Functional Yoga Medicine Podcast. Today's topic is all about theory is dead and application is everything. And I say this because as practitioners, health practitioners in traditional practice, we tend to get hung up on theoretical understanding of our expertise. And a lot of the times, the data is flimsy at best and points to the evidence-based medicine, or it touts the evidence-based medicine, which fails to really take into account the miraculous ability of our bodies to heal themselves. And when you completely ignore and take away this miraculous ability, then we leave very room for miracles in our bodies as well as in our patients' bodies. And it tends to displace our expectations towards the thing, towards hopelessness versus hopefulness, right? So I want you guys to understand too that in today's climate, more patients are seeking practical ways to heal themselves versus theoretical confusion and all the science jargon that we tend to hold on to. So today's topic is really going to make you think about exactly how to address your patients in a more effective way. But it's going to require you to veer away from the traditional practice of medicine or whatever, practice that is or practitioner that you are. I believe while education is important, it can be misconstrued to mean something more than what it is. What I mean is education is only helpful to the extent that you don't let it feed your ego. Too often, I meet practitioners who believe in hierarchy when it comes to education and use it as a status symbol. And I see this from all practitioners all around. In the medical system specifically, there does exist a hierarchy with the doctors at the top of the pyramid and all the other providers. But if you really understand the organization and what each practitioner contributes in the medical system, you'll find that doctors actually know the least about the patient that they're serving. And nurses know the most and are doing the most, especially is the case in the hospital setting. Not only that, the doctor's role is to make sure not prescribe or make recommendations on the health or towards the health to decrease the symptoms, but do so according to the insurance approval. So we've got a third-party payer system that's involved in the clinical practice of medicine, so to speak. In other words, doctors, physical therapists, or any other ancillary billable services don't make clinical decisions. They must abide by the third-party payers who are really corporate executives who know nothing about medicine first to approve our services that we want to render to our patients that's medically necessary. And it's almost like we need their permission to check it off before we're able to act on what's best on behalf of our patients. It's all about the money, right? And this process can take days or months for the insurance payers to approve or disapprove what the doctor wants to do as part of the treatment for you. I do understand that it does serve function of really quality assurance and it limits the overbilling. And I do know and understand that it's happened a lot in the past. But the window of time, though, when you have these pre-certs in place and all the paperwork that you have to go through and the doctors have to go through, the window of time can be of essence in some instances, in some clinical cases. But they are still held up by the criteria set not by your doctor, but the insurance payers, whose job it is to pay the least amount of possible for the services rendered, in my opinion. It's a negotiated rate for volume of patients for the physician offices or, outpatient healthcare settings. And in return, you have a discounted rate to be in that or carrier of that insurance. That's how this works. And at the end of the day, health insurance is a big for-profit business. And at times we pay the price for their bureaucratic ways. we as in patients pay for the bureaucratic ways. Knowing this, lately I think a lot about our medical system, how ineffective and inefficient it is, and yet most of us are just conditioned to play along and play its game, whether it's out of necessity or not go along with it because we know we can't change it, or we go along with it because we know we can't change it. Some may complain, some practitioners, but ultimately succumb to its ways when you have the need for it. And we do that for our patients as well, or as patients as well, right? As much as we complain about it, that's how we pay for the healthcare in this country. So we just have to sort of go along with it. And in my personal field of nutrition and physical therapy, they're used to emphasize so much the evidence-based medicine and place so much emphasis on the theoretical and academic understanding that is substantiated by the research. And this was to elevate the practice of whatever practice that we practice, right? But we all know that research is limited and biased at best, and that it doesn't provide the black and white answer that we all seek. So at best, we're working under the false premise of the research that is biased to apply to our patient care. And this kind of clinical application creates depreciating moral in our field and loss of confidence in our respective profession. It's time to understand that in our industry, it's time to think big picture, connect the dots so that our patients can finally put the pieces back together in their lives as they apply the principles that we share with them, keeping in mind of what we don't know and focusing on the needs of our clients and patients before placing importance on our degrees and understanding of the subject matter. Most of you guys are great at this, and you guys are already seeking for alternative ways to serve your patients for this exact reason, because you know what you're doing is sometimes not skilled service, and you know that it's not helping your patients. And all our patients are human beings having a human experience, which means that sometimes their experience may suck. But we know just their life experience sucks at that moment. But we know that when it sucks, it can only get better as that's life, which provides us with the polarity of life, good and bad, yin to the yang, etc. Our bodies are miraculous, remember, and all it needs is the optimal environment conducive to healing. And to help them get to that point where their body is their sacred space, to create this optimal environment for healing is our role, ultimate role. And to provide our patients with the necessary modalities like coaching, support, accountability, and knowledge to gain control over their own health and their bodies so that they can gain health mastery ultimately. What the patients really need is empathy from you. It's to understand that they are having a hard time. It's not about a simple, go do this, stop eating that, take this medication. It's really to understand where they're coming from. And a lot of the times their sickness or their symptoms are a symptom to a greater problem in their lives. And so you really have to understand every element and every facet of their lives to really understand what the disease, what role the disease is serving in their lives. And then from that place, we have to work from a place of compassion and love, and to really understand that they're just human beings having a human experience, and bring sincerity in your willingness to step up to help them and coach them through this difficult time. And that's really the heart of the matter, right? Heart of the matter of what really matters to the patient and you, that encounter, that's everything. And so I really believe there should be more practitioners who are showing them the way by exemplifying all the things that I mentioned: empathy, compassion, sincerity, heart of the matter. And then don't just say, go do this and go do that. Give them specific, show them how it's done. Do the yoga, show them the breath, and show them how to eat better by being detailed about how to do some certain things based on their own interests and their own limitations as far as the food is concerned. And I want you to do this within the context of healthcare, where we are constantly fighting time, right? And that's really, really hard and nearly impossible. So, when you have to do this and you want to be able to do this, you have to look for the proper solutions, right? And that's why I created the Alkaline Method, which is a framework or a methodology that was created out of my own personal healing journey with autoimmunity, specifically lupus, where all the pieces of the puzzle come together to allow patients to truly live the solution versus being told what to do. They're already dealing with all the symptoms, and it's just really exhausting. But add you as a practitioner to tell them what to do versus really simplifying the solution and showing them how to live the solution. It's everything. And like I said, it all comes down to self-empowerment as the vehicle we need, or the patient's needs, to get them from point A, sick, to point B, health. While they may need medical intervention like prescription drugs and such, they also need a plan to live their lives that include eating, dealing with difficult relationships, having career goals and aspirations, and all the things in between that we don't consider simply because it's out of our scope of practice. Many are finally recognizing the power of integration, and Alkaline Method allows you to strategically do this in your patient care, to be able to showcase and live and show them how to live the solution, rather than going into the rabbit hole approach of scientific basis and grounds and theoretical understanding to a big picture thinking with the patient at the core. That's what really, really we need, because there's a time and the place for rabbit hole approach, but then there's also a need for big picture thinking. You have to go in and out, and this really requires you to have that integration approach. So that's what I wanted to share with you. Just kind of put the thought-provoking subject so that you can start to think about, how do I actually do this, right? And really, that's why I created the Alkaline methodology framework, because theory is dead and application is everything. So I challenge you to really step away from theory and start to apply the thing in your own life so that you can actually showcase this as a living solution or lifestyle solution that your patients can really adopt starting today. So I want to just thank you for being here. And again, I would love it if you would just subscribe to our channel for Functional Yoga Medicine, as well as to follow me at Instagram at Dr. Connie Chung. And I just want to thank you, and I want to invite you to a free training that I'm hosting in June. You can sign up to be waitlisted for right now, but it's something you don't want to miss because it's going to be revolutionary. I'm going to be sharing some training materials that's going to blow your mind. So I want you to click the link below to sign up for the wait list there. And I will see you guys all next week. Bye.